Hey there, everyone. I think we got the problem solved.
Hi, everybody. I hope we did. Ah, I see us. I think we're
Okay.
good.
Wonderful, wonderful. We had to use a new system after yesterday's debacle. Restream failed us. It was working and then decided not to work. It's done that once before. So we're using an entirely new system because it was so important that we brought this to you. Hi, I'm Susie, and this is Connie Joe.
Hi.
And we wanted to take some time and really illuminate everything that's so significant about summer solstice. Of course, we love it. It's the beginning of summer. We're all ready for sandals, sundresses, campfires, summer vibes. But there's actually some incredible significance around the summer solstice. So we're going to talk about all of that. Thank you, lovely people. Um, for letting us know in the chat that we could not be seen prior. But we're all set now. Let's just talk first about what the summer solstice is. Sol meaning sun, and stis meaning to stand still. The summer solstice is the earth standing still on its tilt, because that's how we get seasons, is the tilt of the earth. So on the northern hemisphere, we feel the summer solstice because the earth is tilted and kind of just standing still for just a couple of days on that longest day of sun around that Tropic of Cancer. The sun is shining directly on the Tropic of Cancer and it creates long days. The winter solstice is when it's tilting the other direction and we have the shortest days. So each one there, it's standing still. One at the Tropic of Capricorn, and that of course is during the winter solstice and Capricorn season. And right now the sun is shining bright as the earth is kind of happily gaining its beams around the Tropic of Cancer. And those tropics are the tropic that's referred to when we say that we are Western tropical astrologers, because as I said earlier, we would love to think that's because we all get to practice astrology in tropical climates, but it's not. Those are mathematical points that help us keep time and decide houses and important things in astrology. So when we are enjoying that longest day of sun, we are really taking in all of the sun's energy. The sun is a vital force for us, for the earth. That circadian rhythm controls our sleep, which then controls our health. What do you love the most about
Oh,
summer
I just
solstice?
love feeling like staying up later. I'm an early bird, but I can't go to sleep when the sun is out. So, having the sun out till after 9 o'clock here is just amazing for me. I love it. I
Yeah.
just, I just love summertime anyway. And living where I do, I get a lot of summer, but we are really going into it now for sure.
Yeah. And it brings that excitement. I mean, we can remember when we were little kids, we were excited because we got to stay up later. Cuz even our parents wanted to be out. It's stargazing time. It's campfire time. It's social. And I just want to touch really quick on the difference between, before we get into the astrology, we're going to go over the astronomical, astrological, the ancient, the history, and also like the metaphysical and the spiritual as well. So we're going to pack this video with a ton of information for you, and it will be evergreen, which means we do have a whole video on the transits for the whole summer. Connie, Joe, and I went over the transits between the beginning of June and the end of August. So that is the summer of love question mark, part one and part two, which you can find on the channel for the actual transits. But this information will be evergreen, and information that you will use, that will of course grow your brain. As a Gemini Mercury, I'm always a fan of that. But it's information also you can utilize from here on out. Would you agree with that, Connie Jo?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And just remember, everybody, I mean, I think I, for one, forget this. Of course, this happens every year, but this year in particular, I want to use the full energy of this summer solstice. So, and I don't think I'm cognizant every year that this is what's happening. So, this is a great reminder for me, too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that this particular eclipse season that we just came out of, and some of the transits that we've had and are going to continue to have, that
Mhm.
energy of the sun is super helpful. And I'm going to get into why, even emotionally and psychologically, um, we this could not have been a more needed summer solstice, I believe, this year.
Yeah.
So very quickly before we get into all of that, just want to talk about the difference between the solstice and the equinox. We have a summer solstice, which is now creates longer days, right?
Mhm.
When when the northern hemisphere is tilted and the sun is on that Tropic of Cancer. And then we have winter solstice, when it is tilted in the other direction. Australia loves that. That is their longer summer days, and that is our shorter winter days. Those days where the sun goes away at 4:30 and we're all mad. So that is illustrated here. Now the equinox, it's not a solstice. It's an equinox. It means equal. So that is the autumn and the spring equinox, and those give us kind of more equal days. Yeah. Now they still have all astrological um, and seasonal significance. It's interesting because meteorologists don't use the summer solstice as like the first day of spring or fall or winter because it can fluctuate a little bit. But I think traditionally we all feel that March 21st is really the astrological new year, and that is our spring equinox, and June 21st is the first day of summer.
Yeah.
And so we hold that closely because it's ancient. I mean, since recorded time, this has been a celestial timekeeper. It was an organizer of seasons, and quite frankly, we all still use that calendar today, although it's changed a little bit. But it's held its significance since recorded time, which is incredible. We don't have many things in this civilization that we still utilize. We still utilize a calendar. It might be on your phone, but you're still utilizing the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, which that celestial timekeeper is. I mean, when we think back to all that time ago, there was no one to tell them what day it was, what month it was, what season it was. It was the sun. It was measuring the hours of daylight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Using the sundial.
Yes.
I mean, I have a
Yes.
sundial in my backyard. I look at it a lot. I mean, it's so cool.
Yeah. Leave me a comment if you're our age and you made them in elementary school. We all had like little paper wax cups, and our teacher made sundial. Did you do that in elementary school?
I didn't do that,
Yeah.
but it sounds like a good time. I mean,
I was lucky enough to grow up in a school district that had a planetarium. So since I was 5, I was falling in love with constellations. So we had really cool teachers that were into all of that. So we were making sundials. But yeah, leave me a comment if you also were making sundials as a kid. So, and again, it does have an internal rhythm for us. It changes our circadian rhythm when we are wanting to stay up later, wanting to be social, wanting to have those campfires. We really can stargaze in the summertime, quite clearly because of that tilt, because of yeah. Do you agree? Do you have anything to add to that, Connie Joe?
No, I was just laughing inside about the meteorologist comment because the meteorologists here start on June 1st, which is hurricane season.
Yeah.
I was just laughing inside about that, but that's about it.
All, you know, we love meteorologists because they help us plan for any kind of natural weather that can be a little menacing. So absolutely no shade, but I used to tease my kids when they were little. You know, just be a meteorologist because you can be wrong a lot of the time and you will still get paid. You can be wrong a lot of the time and be
You
paid.
still get paid for it.
Right.
Yep.
So they're not willing to like die on the hill that it's the 21st of March, June, September, and December,
Yeah,
respectively, at the change of the
yeah.
seasons. But, you know, by the way, those are all cardinal seasons because they cardinal modalities start things. They are the starters of the zodiac. So Aries represents the spring, the beginning, the ushering in of the spring. And of course, Cancer is bringing in, and happy Cancer season. Cancer is bringing in this spring, the summer solstice. So, is there anything you'd like to add about what has been the ancient celebration of the solstice, um, and how that has still shows up today?
Well, I think a lot of countries and cultures celebrate the solstice. I know that it's a pagan celebrations. Wicca celebrates the
Yeah.
solstice.
And
And
we're going to
it's
get into all of that. Yeah, we have all the countries. It's kind of cool.
yeah, but I mean, I think that we as Americans don't celebrate it as much as other countries do.
Yeah, I think for us, it's
Enjoy.
more of a social thing, right? That's when you know
Yeah.
you're going to have parties and yeah, yeah.
Cookouts, yes.
Right. But it's, you know, we can look at Stonehenge, um, and think about all the people that come there. How gorgeous is that? So that is, I think everyone knows about Stonehenge, but that is kind of really astronomical architecture, if you will, because it was designed so that they would know exactly when that summer solstice was there because of the lining up of the sun rising, on that ley line. Any desire to go visit that one day, Connie Joe? Should we make it a plan to go there and watch the sunrise on June
No, it
21st?
wouldn't hurt my feelings. That's a magical place. I
Yes.
mean, I
Yes.
could do that.
I like that. It wouldn't hurt your
Someone
feelings.
wants to fly me there. I'm on. Let's
Right.
go.
Right. And so it feels to us like the most enjoyable time. I mean, everybody's, oh, I can't wait for summer. I can't wait for summer. And of course, there are people who love winter season because they love the holidays, and diehard fall season lovers because, you know, Halloween season is every season for some. But there is such a deep significance, to the summer solstice that I think as much as we might love the other seasons, we can't ignore it. And one of the
I think
things that I want to talk about.
another big deal about summer. I mean, school's out. So,
Right.
we can't wait for school to be out.
You know, in other countries too, they have less summer off. So really for us Americans, it is really the summer solstice becomes more of a social thing. And, you know, one of the things that I wanted to talk about before we discuss the countries that celebrate it a little different that I'm super jelly of is that, you know, that sun also has a psychological, emotional effect on us. These longer days, there can be a sense of hope. That is the sense of celebration that we see for all those people that gather at Stonehenge. And that seems intangible to say that. It seems so esoteric. But when we think about places that have colder weather or rainy days or not much sun, we actually correlate that with depression.
Mhm.
And we constantly hear the term somebody has the winter blues, winter depression. Seasonal depression is a clinically diagnosed issue for some. And so it would just follow that when that sun comes, we can really feel more hopeful. We can feel like we have more energy. And why wouldn't we have the sun shining on that Tropic of Cancer? We have that sun shining on the Northern Hemisphere. And it is energizing us, and it is also having that psychological, emotional effect of hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Beautiful time to manifest. Rebirth, right?
Absolutely.
So it's interesting. Some of the other countries, and I was talking to my wonderful client in Sweden the other day, and she was saying they have the day off from work. So I was very jelly. So that's an official, she was telling me how that is literally as celebrated as the holidays there. It's the second most celebrated holiday is the summer solstice.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll get into the other countries, but I thought it was really cool. I wanted to really research if there were any other kind of astronomical, architectural celebrations of the solstice around the world, and I found more. So this is obviously Stonehenge, which Connie, Joe, and I are evidently going in a year or two. We're gonna go have a party. You're all welcome to join us. And this is the Temple of the Sun in Peru, if that is not gorgeous. Yeah, and then there is, this is, I hope I say this right. Please forgive me if I don't pronounce anything correctly. This is the Ring of Bragdor, which personally I am loving because it just sounds very Lord of the Rings, and the inner nerd in me really wants to just go, just so I can say that I was there at the Ring of Bragdor.
Yeah.
That is gorgeous. And again, there's a lining up of the sun. And then, of course, we have the Great Pyramid of Giza, which was also built in celebration to that solstice.
Yeah.
And this is just gorgeous. This is Chichen Itza in Mexico. Beautiful. Another on the to-do list. We could just make this a world tour, Connie Joe.
Oh yeah. I'm ready.
And this is incredible. I probably will nerd out and find out when exactly this was built. I didn't for this because I wanted to concentrate on other things for this video. But it almost looks like modern architecture. This is, and again, please forgive if I at all, this is the Jantar Mantar in New Delhi. And I would really just love to find when this was built. That is so, so cool. And the sun tunnels, and this is right here in Utah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Cool.
yeah, and then again, I want to say it's called Chaco Canyon, and this is in New Mexico as well. So this is such a celebrated, beautiful, spiritual, celestial event that we have structures all over the globe that celebrate the solstice. The significance is huge. And it's, again, it was necessary to know all this information for functioning, for gardening, for survival, to know when they could get the most out of their workday, when climates were inhabitable, when to move. I mean, the nomads used it also for survival. It's really just so interesting. And again, we mostly use it for stargazing, but there is an inner divine part of all of us that that solstice speaks to us, whether we grow up with it culturally or we're given that handed down wisdom. And that's the thing. I really feel like when this sun is here, and this strong, and we're benefiting from this energy, we're really benefiting from wisdom, from like universal wisdom. I know that sounds very, very woo woo, but the sun holds ancient wisdom and energy, and it is how we energize. That's more astrological, but that's how we are, our energy levels. Every day is the sun. I know some people are hardcore about it being just the ego, but it's also how we perform best um, in our astrological selves. So really quickly, some of the countries that more officially celebrate winter solstice, we have Sweden, all the Scandinavian countries, Norway, Iceland, etc., Italy, and of course England and Scotland. But one of the things that I love is China considers the summer solstice the yin to their winter solstice yang. Like, that's so beautiful.
Hmm.
I was talking to Connie Joe about that, and I was like, "That's us.
Yeah.
We are yin and yang, quite, you know." So Cancer and Capricorn,
Yeah.
Leo and Aquarius, like all of our play, we talk about it all the time. But and that is balance.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it we so we can feel internally balanced as well. And I'm just would like to tell everybody in Sweden, I'm officially jelly of your day off from work for the summer solstice, and it's expected that there'll be parties. I know one of our viewers and one of my clients will be going to parties all weekend, because it's like, of course there's parties. It's summer solstice, it's a big deal there. um, Anything you want to add to when you were talking about what culture is celebrating? What did you say it was, Letha?
Yeah, the pagan culture celebrated as Letha. I don't know if it's Letha or Litha. Again, the pronunciation, forgive me if I'm not saying it correctly, but they called it sun magic. And now in more modern times, they use this energy for inner power and just inner brightness. And some of the things they do, I thought this was so cool, y'all. They make sun water, and they use the sun water to clean their house, to mop their floors, to clean inside, to bring the sunshine inside their home. I thought that was incredibly cool that they do that. And of course, they have bonfires. And one of the things that I found very cool is that I found this cool. I would not do it. I would have a bonfire, but they jump over the bonfire. They see who can jump the highest over the bonfire. Would not do that, but the bonfire, yes, great. Have lots of cookouts and stuff. And then I know that Wicca celebrates, and I think they do a lot more than giving them credit for. But I know one thing they do is they gather herbs, and they'll put the herbs like in a headband around their head, and wear those as celebration of the summer solstice. And they don't worship the herbs, obviously, but it's a part of the harvest that comes in, and the signal that it's time to relax from all of the labor and enjoy the summer.
Hmm. Yeah, it's it's not a retrograde, but there's a lot of rewords around. There's rebirth at the summer solstice. We watch that happen in the ground as well. I have to ask you, did you say that the Litha or Letha celebration of people jumping over bonfires, are they Celtic? Because as someone of Irish ancestry, I do believe we have just the modicum amount of brave slash crazy to jump over bonfires.
Yeah, it is kind
Yeah,
of a
as a
Celtic celebration.
celebratory.
Uh, yeah, that I mean, I think other pagan religions celebrate. I don't know if they all do the bonfire thing, but most pagan religions do celebrate the summer solstice. I think it's
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and I know for Wicca, it's a huge um, celebration because the Wicca is honoring the earth. It's honoring nature. But I will never speak on anything that I don't have, that I don't feel like that I have authority to speak on, whether that's a lack of knowledge or lack of experience. I just want to give an honorable mention to that. And I'm sure there's some Wicca practitioners that honor nature, and they probably have so much more information even on the solstice in that respect. Um, I just know their summer solstice traditions. Some of them are really beautiful, and it's very, if you like Ren Fair, if you like the Renaissance period, if that's, I know cottagecore and Renaissance are very different, but most people who like one like the other. It's something to go check out, even if you have zero intentions. If you like it, I love it. Whatever makes you feel spiritually supported, but they just really do have some beautiful celebratory traditions
Mhm.
around the solstice. Um, so we've talked about it astronomically. We've talked about the technical definitions. We've talked about the celebrations and the ancient wisdom and how it's, benefited us with our calendar, how it makes us feel, think, and even psychologically benefit from it. So let's get into the astrological aspects of the summer solstice. Miss Connie Joe is just so brilliant. And I, wanted to take a moment and say, uh, if you haven't had the experience of having a session with Connie Joe, please do. And her website's ConnieJoeSkywalker.com. I'm SusieEvolutionary.com. But Connie Joe is amazing. And one of her, besides Progress Moon, Advanced Astrology, Advanced Timing, is her knowledge of the asteroids and of goddesses. And so you mentioned to me that there was a goddess that is signified with the summer solstice.
The goddess of the summer solstice is Vesta. She is the goddess of home and hearth, which is signified by the sign of Cancer. And this goddess is so amazing no matter where she sits in your chart. I want to do a whole video on Vesta. She's the one goddess that I haven't done a video on yet. But she's the Lord over the home, keeping the fires burning. Um, and that is what is signified by the summer solstice, Miss Vesta herself.
I would love to see, I'm sure everybody would love to see you do a video on Vesta. And again, of course, leave us a comment if you want Connie Joe to give us a gorgeous Vesta video. And how does she show up for us in energy? Is,
Because it's like she keeps that fire of passion going. Often she shows up in a chart in a place where that we are passionate. Something we're passionate about, an area of life we're passionate about.
mm-hmm.
It's by sign and house, you can kind of tell what's going on. But in the sign of Cancer in particular, um, the passion is for the home and the family. And um, her what she signifies is keeping those fires burning.
The commitment to keeping them burning, correct? Yeah.
Yes, because in mythology, if the Vestal virgins let the fires go out, they were buried alive. So it's all about keeping the fires of passion burning. But the flip side of Vesta is that it's also a place in your chart because all this passion and fire is there, that sometimes you have to remember to take a rest, to take a break. So that's the flip side of Vesta.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like you wet our whistle, so I can't wait for you to do a full
Come
yes. Um, and so the other things that we want to talk about astrologically is that this energy is really a great energy to start things. It's in a cardinal sign. It signifies a new start. But much like a moon cycle, if you have a new moon, it holds 6 months of energy that culminates at the full moon. This energy does the same. What you plan now, what you feel inspired, encouraged, hopeful to do now, what you engage in, that energy can kind of hold. And it's interesting because Connie Joe, you were saying that you think it holds until
Yeah, I think it holds until the fall equinox,
right,
the autumn equinox. Yeah.
right. So, and I think that it can show up at the fall equinox, and then on a more nuanced level, you're gonna see other things. I think it can be both. But you've all heard me say a million times, life is not black and white. It is a Venn diagram. So
Yes.
things show up on different levels. So yeah, so there's going to be two spots for this energy to culminate. It's going to be the fall equinox, which is
Oh, it is the start of Libra season, September 21st,
yes,
something like that. Yeah.
yes, and then
Hard. Yeah.
yeah, sorry. And then Capricorn season, which of course starts December 21st, is that winter solstice.
Hmm.
So the the astrological and symbolic energy can actually show up. And I'll get back more. It's kind of astrological and it's kind of metaphysical. But the way that what you nurture now can show up tangibly in Capricorn season, because Capricorn is all about the results.
Yeah.
And yeah, so knowing that, we're just going to go real quick. I hope you all have your chart. If you don't have your chart, email me. Hi, nice. I see some newer names in the chart. If you don't, if in the chat, if you don't have your chart, email me with your birth info, and we get you your chart so that when you're following along in these videos, you can truly follow along. I know y'all know. I see my Libra friend on there. I know you all know your sun signs because you celebrate it very loudly on social media. It's this season, it's that season. But your rising is really important because that determines your houses where the other zodiacs are going to show up. And the houses represent the subjects of how energy can play
The
out.
area of life.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I would strongly recommend if you don't know your birth time, it is so worth it to have a rectification of your birth chart. And, it can take a little time. Sometimes it's faster than others,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so worth it.
Yes. And a rectification means that we can know the day that you were born and look at events in your life. It's easier to rectify for somebody who's got a few miles on them. So we're going to look at events in your life and be able to see the timing of the transits. It's kind of well, fun and hard math for me. It's the more goodwill hunting math of going backwards. That's why it takes some time because we would calculate, but it can be done. Both Connie, Joe, and I do that. And before we go through the houses, I keep forgetting to mention. Not that it's my birthday Monday. That's not the thing. Every year on my birthday, I like to sit in gratitude and give back, and also make sure I'm being accessible. So I run a flash sale. That'll start Sunday. I will, after this video, have the deets up on my Instagram, my website, whatnot. But it's just a ridiculous slash of the normal session prices, and I do that as a give back. So if you are interested in having a session, and of course Connie Joe is also amazing, but you can either email me or you can just go to uh, susieevolutionary.com, and also that's where you can find Skywalker Evolutionary appointments, because we do appointments together. They're insane. That's all I'll say. Getting up the reviews later this week. We have a whole bunch of reviews now. So
Yeah,
it's,
they're crazy.
yeah,
Crazy
incredible.
good.
Yeah, crazy good. Um, so let's go through, because the summer solstice is also, that sun is going to have a more intensified energy. It's going to have a more impactful energy in whichever house it shows up. And that first house that it shows up, because it's going to show up wherever you have 0 degrees of Cancer.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
so whatever house that's in, those subjects may be that energy that plays out for the next 6 months, that brings you
Mhm.
results in Capricorn season at the winter solstice. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it over to Connie Joe, because I'll just talk way too long. I will just pontificate on details that no one needs. So we're gonna give it over to Connie Joe, and I might interject. To go through the houses. So for Aries rising folks, this is mostly going to end up in their fourth house. It could change depending on what degree of Aries you are, but where how is that going to affect?
Well, I think
What's a
it will
concentration?
affect. I think what for Aries, it'll be two different things. Number one, with all that concentration of the sun in the home family area, what a great time to have reunions, get together with your
Mm.
family, enjoy good food, good company. Hopefully, I mean, family's family. Um, Remodeling projects, or planting or harvesting, playing in the dirt, all of those things. But the one thing I want to mention is that the closer this falls to your IC, which is the bottom of the chart, the technical name is Imam Coeli, but I don't know anyone that says that. So let's just say it's the fourth house cusp. The
Between the
closer
third
zero,
and the fourth, just so we're clarifying, not between the fourth and the fifth. It's an angle, and you'll see it
yeah.
in your chart. It's a darker line than the other house cusps along with the
So
sun. Yeah.
wherever, if 0 degrees of Cancer is really close to that cusp, this is the most private part of your chart. So when you have that concentration of the sun for that long coming into that, you might feel a little exposed, or like you kind of feel like the part of Cancer that's the crab that wants to kind of go into hiding just a bit and have a little bit of alone time, because that's just a huge concentration of energy on a very private part of the chart.
Yeah. And and also you might end up doing concentrating on doing some healing through your female line
Yeah.
uh at this time. And because it's a hopeful, more happy energy, that can be great. And if we are a Taurus rising,
Man, if I were Taurus rising, it falls in your third house. I would take short trips everywhere around me. Go see your cousins. Go visit your brothers and sisters if you're older. Spend some time with that part of your family. Um, Enjoy the modality of the trip.
mm-hmm.
Everybody thinks about summer short trips. Um, when school's out and everything. And the third house is the ruler of that. Also, this is a great time to journal your thoughts. You know, what what are you enjoying about the summer solstice? What do you want to manifest 6 months from now. Well, what is important about this time for you? I think
Hmm.
all of those are great third house themes for a Taurus rising to concentrate on.
I agree on all of that. And really just enjoying the road trip rather. I mean, we say it's not the destination, it's the journey, but really to harness that. Get yourself some good road trip snacks and some good road trip music and some lit company. And I mean, those are my favorite moments in life.
Oh
Really.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
it's so summer like. I
yeah.
mean, everybody thinks about those things mostly in the summer.
Yeah. And Gemini rising.
So that's your second house, Gemini. Um, okay, this is going to sound a little strange, but use that energy to cook some good food. I mean, as Gemini risings, but Taurus, not Taurus. Um, your second house is lit by
Venus.
Cancer.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that cooking good food, reevaluating how you feel about yourself, letting that sun come in, and it doesn't have to make you an egomaniac, but it can come in and just help you feel better about you, the essence
Hmm.
of who you are. It's also a good time to reevaluate your possessions, what you have a yard sale, clean out everything because the second house rules our possessions and our talents. Use your talents. This is also about values. And you may, with all of that concentration of sunlight, decide that some things you thought were valuable in your life may not be as valuable, and vice versa. It could go both ways.
Hmm.
Um, or, this might be a good time to focus on how you make money. You've got a lot more daylight to think about it. It's also the house of our talent, how we make money, our career. So there's a lot of things you can do if you're a Gemini rising.
Yeah. And they will try to do most of them.
Oh, absolutely. You got it.
Okay, so Cancer rising.
Well, lucky Cancer risings, the sun is on you and use it.
Yeah, they got to wear
Flaunt it.
sunglasses inside. Yeah.
Yes, enjoy that energy. Um, use that energy to enhance the parts of your personality that you love, or use that energy to maybe stop habits or something. That's kind of a sixth house thing, but if you have a personal habit that you'd like to quit, use that energy to stop doing something or start doing something on a daily basis because the spotlight is on you. Go to that job interview, really. I can't say enough how when the sun or Venus is on our ascendant or on the midheaven, that we are shining at that time and people see it. They're attracted to you. Cancer, go on a date. Go have a good time. Yeah,
Cancer risings, right? So I don't have to do it. That doesn't apply to me. Okay, good. Um
but you do. You should.
yeah. Leo risings. I'm just kidding. All right. So Leo risings, how will this where is this concentration
And there's the
affecting?
12th house. So in the 12th house, this is a good time for a Leo rising to really access things they thought they couldn't. And what I mean by that is a lot of times things in the 12th house, and I think maybe particularly for Leo rising, seem a little hidden. But you
Yes.
can't access those things. This might be a good time for some extra meditation, um, to contact, if you haven't already, your spirit guides, to have a little conversation with them. And this is going to sound a little weird, and I kind of don't care because I feel like this is coming
I
from
I
my
mean
heart.
I'm pretty weird, so I think weird flies
But
here.
go go visit someone in the hospital. If you don't have a friend or family member that's in a hospital or somewhere, then just go visit a hospital,
Volunteer.
spray some flowers. Yeah. Um, and I'll go one step further. Write a letter to someone in jail that's in prison or in jail. You know, these are the isolated places of the 12th house. And
Hmm.
what a great way to use that energy by giving back. Um, Sorry, y'all, that was really weird. I don't know where that came from, but it
Well, I
applies.
think we know where it came from, but I mean, I think it's also a really beautiful sentiment. I don't believe in hierarchy in spirituality, and so I think that, and this is a F judgment zone. I Judgment and shame are what keep us from healing. So I think it's actually a super beautiful sentiment to extend ourselves to somebody whose circumstances, whose trauma, whose whatever, however they got there. If you're talking about people who are incarcerated, and I could just go off. There's way too many people incarcerated that shouldn't be. It is a money making profit, for profit business, as well as serving any kind of justice, if that's what. But so I super co-sign that idea. I just want to say about the 12th house. I often explain to clients that if you think about one of those mall maps, the "you are here," and I always say when you're looking at yourself on your chart, your back is to that 12th house. Placements in the 12th house can also feel misunderstood. Like Connie Joe said, it's a place of isolation, institutions, right? We know that. But it can feel where the fourth house is where you choose to be private and hide things. The 12th house is what you can feel is what's hidden from you, even. And
Mm.
so, when that concentration of that solar energy in that 12th house, this is, we're talking about illumination. This is a great time to understand things about yourself, rather than
Explore
how other people perceive you, that can help strengthen. Uh,
And to take that a step further, the eighth house are secrets that are known to us. The 12th house
right,
holds secrets that are not known to us.
right,
So yes, use this light, this illumination um, to find out more about you,
yeah,
about yourself.
yes. And the connectivity that you can find in the 12th house will certainly help you find the answers that you didn't feel that you had access to prior. We're
Yeah.
going to talk about that too in more metaphysical terms in a bit. And so Virgo risings, 11th
Uh,
house.
it's all about being social. It's all about the friendships and enjoying that particular part of your life. Now, Virgo risings are hard workers. You know, sometimes they don't take the time out for themselves, but this is the time to go enjoy your friendships and enjoy the socialness of the whole
Mm-hmm.
thing. Um, Put yourself out there a little bit, Virgo rising, and let yourself be seen in that social light just a little bit more. And as I always like to say, the 11th house is the house of hopes, wishes, and dreams. Write them down. Um, Use them as a mantra, however you say it. You know, harness that energy to make your dreams come true.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it's not so shabby for Virgo to have the 11th house for this one. Um, and also, you know, as winter can feel shedding and isolating, and that social house feels really good at our social season. Also, look at what kind of Virgo is very good at editing. Virgo is good at cultivating. Look at what kind of friends and what kind of support and environment you have cultivated for yourself, and watch how that plays out by winter. Um, okay, so Libra rising.
Well, Libra rising, this is your 10th house.
Da da da
And
da.
as I said before, this is the most public part of your chart.
Mm-hmm.
So you are being looked at. The sun is shining on you. People can see you. as I said about the ascendant, the same way for Cancer, is this is a good time to go for that job interview. But this is also a good time to decide how you want to be seen in the world. What is your goal in this lifetime? It doesn't just have to incorporate your career, which I think everyone associates with this, but this is the home. Oops. Sorry, everybody. Phone fell. Does that mean company's coming? No, that's the broom. Okay. Anyway, so for Libra, get a grip, Connie Joe.
You're good. You're good.
It's all about that very public house. It's not just your career, but it can be. But I'll take it one step further. It's not a job, it's what you really want to do. So turn your focus to that because you have all of this extra illuminating light to take your career or your goals one step further. And that way, when you get to the 11th house, it's about making your dreams come true.
That's beautiful. And also it's reputation and it's confidence. You know,
Yeah.
it's this is, and I love this for Libra, especially because I kept saying to my Libra energies for months now, if you come, I think it's going to be Friday nights or going to be Saturday mornings now. But if you come do the energy hangout with me once a week, I have been constantly talking about that Libra energy, kind of getting ready for the South Node hitting their placements and bolstering your confidence, like prepping in good ways, so that they don't fall into people pleasing. This, please harness the energy of the confidence that is available to you from that 10th house.
hmm
Scorpio risings.
Well, lucky Scorpio, because this energy falls in your ninth house. I love the ninth house. So, of course, travel, but not just traveling to the next state or the next province or whatever, but maybe taking a big trip abroad, going to see someplace you've never
Mhm.
seen before, going to another culture, you know, and I think if I were a Scorpio rising, I'm not, but I would use this energy to learn another religion, learn about another culture, or, the ninth house is the house of higher learning.
Mhm.
So using that, I know it's the summertime, school's out, right? So learn about something fun
Yes, but
you've always wanted to know about. Go get it. And you know what? At the end of the day, then go to a restaurant that serves a different culture of food that you've never had before in your life and let me know if you like it or not.
yeah, I mean, explore. Jupiter expands things, and there's kind of a Jupiterian flavor on that ninth house.
Mm-hmm.
Explore and expand your vernacular. While it's so easy to do that, and there's parties and barbecues, and you can be social and learn at the same time. But I mean, there's almost no more classic pairing than a hammock or a tree and a book. So there's so many
Right.
ways to expand
Go to another
philosophies.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
philosophies and ideologies. It doesn't even have to just be religion. Just stepping into a different consciousness other than the only one that you've experienced is beautiful. And Scorpio, the deep diver, is so willing to do that. So it's a really beautiful match.
Yeah, I think so too. I love it.
Sag risings, like our Miss Connie Joe here.
Oh goodness. Well, guess what? Tax season, at least for us here in the States, is over. And the eighth house does involve taxes, so we don't have to really think about that. I, for one, will be thinking about different ways I want to manage my money, my
Mm-hmm.
household money. It is about debt as well. So thinking about, like in the second house, it's our possessions, but the eighth house is what you own with other people. So, it is about debt. Also, it's about the cycles of life and death. So, really deepening your understanding of that cycle and what life and death really mean. Um, going. comforting someone that has lost a loved one. You know, I lost a really good friend back in March, so I'm going to be honoring her memory some during this summer solstice and really thinking about her. So it may be a time to I'm just going to say it, write your will, write your last wishes. Nobody wants to talk about that, but I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen eventually. So, what better time when the sun is bright and the last thing we're thinking about is our dying day? It's a perfect time to do it because you actually have that happy energy to be able to
Yeah.
distribute what belongings you have to your loved ones.
Yeah, and also it's the eighth house is holds intimacy. So really
Yeah.
opening yourself up, intimacy can be more than just physical intimacy. So really opening, you may find yourself in a soulmate situation. And when I think soulmate, I think soul family. So it again, it doesn't have to be romantic, but feeling known, which is a
Hmm.
very life or death subject. It's our own proximity to mortality is before we leave. Were we really truly known? Did we let people in? Were we authentic? All of those themes can be really truly illuminated for you, and it could make you crave an intimacy in a relationship in a dichotomy that you haven't experienced before, which I love for Sag. And God, if you have a Sag rising in your life that wants to, like, skin you and wear you like a coat and get to know you inside and out, I highly suggest that you let them, because no regrets letting this Sag rising uh in. And as a Cancer, that shell's pretty hard. So yeah, you can trust a Sag rising with the inner workings of your soul. It's a safe place for it to be. Capricorn risings.
Well, this is the seventh house, excuse me, of committed relationships. Now, if you have certain planets in the seventh house, let's just say if the planetary energies are right, this could be a great time for really finding that committed relationship.
Yeah.
But it's not just about that. If you've been thinking about signing a contract to buy a house, great time to do it. Before Venus goes
Right.
retrograde.
Yeah, just watch the Summer of Love video before you. Yeah, but next year we won't have Venus retrograde during the summer. So next year,
Exactly.
I know I almost wanted to say real estate for the fourth house for our Aries risings, but maybe just really it's shoots and ladders this summer for that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, but absolutely.
It's funny to me because the seventh house is our house of committed relationships, but it's also the house of open enemies. Go figure. That's like a comedy.
Well,
But
how many of our start out as a relationship and ends up as an open enemy? I mean,
exactly.
it's the circle of life, quite frankly.
So,
There's,
this may be a time to balance that out, to let
mm-hmm.
go of things that are no longer serving you in that area of your life. What commitments have you made that are really not serving you anymore? Being able to let that go, because I promise you, with the sun lighting up that sector of your life, other people will come in. So it's like a discernment. It's kind of like Virgo energy, just a little bit, discerning what you need to keep, what you need to let go of in that seventh house atmosphere of where we've made commitments. And
Yeah.
I will say this, um, Capricorns will overcommit. And damn it, they'll try to keep every commitment that they make.
Mm-hmm.
So let go of some of that,
And tell you
Capricorn.
they don't have time. I
Yes,
still like, right. So Capricorns enjoy life. Capricorn energies enjoy life because you will overcommit and then not leave enough room for, the most social season besides holiday
yes,
season. Um,
exactly.
yeah. And Aquarius risings.
Well, they get this energy in their house of everyday routine. So, And not only is it a good energy to let go of routines that really aren't good anymore and picking up some great stuff, this is a great time just to go outside every day. If you're an Aquarius rising, go
Hmm.
outside, enjoy the sunshine, make that part of your routine. Go to the humane shelter, and if you're able to, adopt a pet. Adopt a pet.
Yeah.
Let them bring that sunshine into your life. You know, the sixth house rules small animals and pets. And, you know, what better way not only to give a beautiful soul in the form of an animal a home, but also to enhance your own life. And, you know, that's kind of all I have to say about it. Except this can be a good time to step it up with your workout routine or health routine because you have
Yes.
more energy to do it.
Yes. And harness the circadian rhythm to make sure you have the energy to do the health things, to start your morning in a healthy way, whether that's a healthy breakfast or your apple cider vinegar shot or whatever, to stretch, to exercise. You can't do that without the sleep, the proper sleep the night before. So really taking advantage of the energized days and that circadian rhythm really working for you, this is a beautiful time in the house of health. And last but certainly not least, Pisces risings with their
Pisces
beautiful eyes.
never least.
Yes.
So Pisces rising, lucky you, fifth house energy, go fall in love. And it doesn't have to be with another person. Go fall in love with the outdoors. Go fall in love with your children. Go fall in love with someone else's children and give them a break. But just use this energy, this childlike. The fifth house is the house of our inner child.
Mm-hmm.
Use this energy to do some inner child work. If you don't, if you never go outside and play, go play.
Yeah. Fall in love with a new creative expression.
Yeah,
Catharsis is so important for us as humans. This is a fantastic time for Pisces rising to, and that Neptunian Jupiterian energy the Pisces risings hold. Getting your hands in something tactile. Sorry, this is all really coming through really quickly, but getting your hands in something tactile, painting, finding a new creative. I don't, if it's chalk art, I mean, there's chalk the city events where you can go anything, but get your hands in something, get your feet in the ground, and have a manifestation for that creative
yeah,
concentration of solar energy in that fifth house, and fall in love with yourself through a creative expression that lets you express in a way that sometimes you don't feel like you might have words or tangible ways to express or exchange with other people as a Pisces rising.
yeah. And take good care of your heart. And I mean this in a very physical and emotional way,
Mm.
because the fifth house rules the heart. And I don't know, that's just what they said. Take
Yeah.
care of your heart.
So this is a perfect segue. So, again, we can really concentrate that hopeful, happy energy. I mean, even if we look at the Sun card in tarot, it represents Leo, the middle of summer, and it's referred to often as the happiest card in the deck. Like, oh, you got the Sun card. This is very happy. This is, yeah. So, absolutely, that summer solstice can have an internal shift. And, we also see this as a time, commencing growth. We see it uh, on the earth, the flowers, plants, we plant gardens, but it's also a really, that solar concentration accelerates growth. So it's also a really great time to accelerate growth for ourselves. And it's the start of Cancer season, so it's uh nurturing. What are you nurturing? What are you trying? Because wherever you put the effort, it'll grow.
Hmm.
Wherever you put the concentration of energy and nurturing energy in your life, it will grow. So you can absolutely use the available energy of wherever this is going to fall in whatever house, sure. But you can also choose something at this time, and we're going to get more about choice, where you can choose something at this time to really nurture. Because if we look at, like, the annuals, we see things budding again, and sometimes we put the work and the effort into perennial choices at this time of year, which means you have to go ahead and get a new environment for it. It takes a little bit more effort, but even though the earth is secular, seasons is secular, time is secular, I mean, we could argue that point in semantics and esoterics, but we are meant to change within those cycles. Those cycles are not meant to bring us stagnation. They are meant to bring us growth. This accelerated time, accelerated energy, accelerated growth. This is rebirth. This is recalibrating ourselves, because we feel energized enough to do it. Where in the winter, it's like, it is physically harder. And so we can nurture our emotional well-being again. So if we look at Cancer, that's cups. And this is a time to really, we can foster growth in our emotional intelligence, which not only helps us, but it helps everyone around us, really, right? When we're not taking things personal. When we're examining, allowing ourselves to examine things without judgment or shame, that's when we have growth. It's just such a beautiful time to concentrate on that. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, not really. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, and again, so whatever you nurture and foster and grow right now, you can see that show up in the fall, and you can see it really show up in the winter. And what I love is that if we take this Cancer season, these cups, and we fill them and we nurture them for whatever you want that to be, it shows up in the time of Capricorn. It shows up in the correlation of Pentacles. That's what you can hold in your hand. I always say, when we look at the suit of tarot, cups is we're feeling something. Swords is we have to put a name to it, and have thoughts about it. The wands are just starting to put something into action about the feelings that we've now named. And Pentacles is actually when it starts to show up for us in the 3D, in the earthly. It's no longer an internal thing. It's showing up. And so, we just talked about manifestation without saying we were talking about manifestation. What you nurture now can show up. Capricorn loves results. It can show up for you. Whatever you put that energy into, it will grow. And the hopefulness and the happiness right now, let it be contagious, infectious, and encourage you to do that. Because the energetic shifts, the mindset shifts, that will be the rewards. Can there be actual tangible rewards? Sure. But that mindset will have this beautiful, the mindset shift will be such a reward, because it's a reward that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
It shows up everywhere. So the last thing that I kind of want to talk about is, it is my study from astrology and of metaphysical practices both that makes me feel like this, and from now on, at least for the next 20 years, when I keep saying accelerated growth, there's an encouragement from universe. There's an intensity, because we have to raise the vibration on the planet. We have to collectively raise the vibration of the planet, quite frankly, for our survival. So we have a frequency. The earth has a frequency. If you follow the Schumann resonance, it's kind of like the heartbeat of the earth, but it's measured by the frequency of the humans on it. the accelerated growth of that, the accelerated growth of the people around us that we see all of a sudden understanding things, expanding their consciousness. I don't care what you want to call it. If it's too woo-woo to say awakening or whatever, I don't believe in spiritual hierarchy, so I don't think there's anything, I don't think people who are awake and practicing any kind of metaphysical things are any better than somebody who's still fully asleep. It's just at a different place in their journey. But this energy is so, it's always available to us, but it's super available to us right now. That nurturing energy, that wisdom, you know, and when we raise the vibration, we will be giving back to the earth. It is our existence. We don't exist without a healthy earth. And so when we raise our consciousness collectively, we're going to be in a more simpatico and ecosystem, if you will, between the 3D, the 5D, and that's what we need. So when you have moments of availability to help somebody expand just their mindset, expand their sense of knowing, we don't all live in a microcosm of our beliefs. And I truly believe it is the social settings that come through in the summer that is also kind of like universally divined, anciently divined, to have us spread that experience of somebody else's walk in life, to have us find our commonalities, and expand our thoughts. Do you have anything else to say?
I was just thinking that just this week, I have had the youngest person I've ever had make an appointment with me, and the oldest person I've ever had. So I'm talking teens and 70s. And I was overjoyed, not because I was getting a reading, but because I was like, wow, everybody from all ages
Mm-hmm.
want to learn. They want to know more about the spiritual, about astrology. And all I can say, Susie, is it just blessed me. Really, it did.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna say something because I'll be 53 on Monday, right? So like, you could see that as old or not old. I really don't care. But you know, I got some miles on these tires, and so this does relate. But um, my daughter and I were watching Top Chef, and I said, you know, I'm watching like season 18 or something, and I started watching that show 15 years ago, and I used to be able to watch that show and go in my kitchen and figure out a lot of stuff. Okay, so maybe that's my Gemini brain. I love to cook. If you follow me already, you know, right? But the chefs this year, or that season, there's no sous chefs. These are people who already have their executive chefs or have their own restaurants, and they all look 12 to me. And I was having a conversation with my 24-year-old, and I said, you know, they grew up watching us. We can never ever ignore the expansion of education and understanding and walk in other people's cultures and experience that has now been shared through technology, and the way that we all share information now. And so I know that there are some that like, oh, experience is experience, and you can't take, you know, a 27-year-old and say they know better than a 57-year-old. But I don't believe that's true. I think that's another form of hierarchy. And when we let go of those boundaries and those constructs, and somewhat of, I said, you know, you could be resentful, or you could be impressed. I choose to be the latter. I'm so impressed with the newer generations coming in. And I think that if we're going to look at what we nurture, let's nurture like this Pluto and Aquarius, and the other. I don't think Pluto's really super generational, especially now that it's slowing down so much. But you know, we should be nurturing these incredible beings, because they are, that I think we both had, I had somebody that I realized was only 2 years older than my 14-year-old make an appointment. and have this incredibly intelligent, articulate conversation about astrology and inner child and all this. And I'm like, this is incredible. These are the
Hmm.
people that are going to make our world a better place. And we're very lucky to have that generation, I think.
Yeah.
Every generation has its purpose. There's no shade on anyone. Um, but again, it's just, that if we can be reciprocal towards the earth, towards other generations, and I'm a fierce advocate when I see injustice. I am great on boundaries, but we can have boundaries and still have reciprocation. And I mean, that is that Two of Cups, Venus and Cancer. It should be in exchange. And I just want to impart that on everybody. Take the moments to listen to somebody else's story. We grow more when we listen than when we talk. Uh, and that's a lot for me to say. So and concentrate, use this energy. Connie Joe said, take care of your heart. This season celebrates the heart chakra. This is and that is your neutral. That is your neutral center. And of course we have to align and calibrate. There are those words again. But this is really about letting that hopefulness and that happiness have a beautiful benefit on your heart chakra, and how much we can't grow if we're closed off.
True.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um, anything else that you would like to add? Okay, so I just want to say, like, this is so summer solstice is like, the most important invitation you'll get all summer is the invitation to make yourself available. That confidence that the sun brings. We think about Leo. If this is a portal, and it is, right? We see this in a metaphysical sense. We see this time as a portal, as almost like a gate. The way that some people would refer to Lion's Gate. When we have a gate or a portal, there's something on either side. And what we just left was Gemini season. The Gemini card is the Lovers. It used to be called the Choice, and it really is. And this is what I really want you to take with you for every summer solstice. Think about what you're going to choose to nurture. The choices we make are always important, but at this time, they're going to be intensified with that solar energy. That just is what it is. Look at how the sun runs the solar system, all of the planets, our vital life. We cannot live without the sun. So when you have the intensified energy, yeah. The choices you make right now, they can be intensified. So are you choosing to move with fear and lack, right? And the most detrimental lack is that lack of trust in yourself, or that belief in yourself. So I hope for everyone's sake who's watching this, that is the happiness. It's not just the happiness because you're getting to be out with other people. It's the happiness that you can lean into, that hope that you can lean into right now, so that you can build trust with yourself. You can build belief in yourself, because that will take you farther. That is the thing you want to manifest. That is the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah. Well, I really, really appreciate all of your comments, and everyone in the chat will probably and I appreciate the replay viewers. I think I might take this down and edit it. It's been an amazing, I would say, information packed video. Connie Joe, I think we're all going to be waiting for that Vesta video. And again, she's Connie Joe Skywalker. You can go on ConnieJoeSkywalker.com and book an appointment. She's also got an incredible newsletter that she puts out. I am Susie Evolutionary. I'm here once a week, sometimes twice a week. And also, we each have sessions, and I'm running that special. I'm running my birthday special. So the details will be up today. It'll go live Sunday night till Wednesday. And thank you for being here with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love this crowd of people. I really do. Thank
Well,
you.
We all love you back, Connie Joe. We appreciate you, and I certainly appreciate that you lend your spirit and that beautiful, brilliant astrological mind to us. And we will see you all soon. Leave us comments.
Yes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.